So Christmas has come and gone. With that, most of us have received new sets of socks and new consoles as well as money. And because most of the newest generation of console games are not out yet, I'm going to make a video on all the games I'd recommend you get for the newest systems. A few ground rules though. These games have to be put out for more than a year and must be worth less than their original retail value. And only one game per franchise just to simplify the list, otherwise it'd be full of like shooter ups or something. With that, here's the list in no particular order. While there's a crap ton of other Transformers games, all those have become well known while Devastation sorta gets swept under the rug, and I don't understand why. It looks visually amazing, with the G1 models truly transitioning well to 3D, and they get almost all the original actors to voice their characters again. The gameplay as well is really good as a simple beat 'em up as the Autobots, except for the one moment when it goes to 2D tops down perspective to get some explosive energon. Like, the rest of the game is all normal third person 3D, so why does it go to bird's eye view for this part? The game doesn't have much story, with it mostly being stopping Megatron from using an ancient Cybertronian ship to cyberform the planet, while the Autobots try to stop him and get the MacGuffin with history from their planet he's using to control the cyberforming ship. While it seems generic halfway through, they put a twist that sounds simple enough to set up sequels that I thought sounded a little hammy, though the voice actors pull it off well, especially the speech Optimus makes at the end of the game. This is some of the best work Peter Culling's ever done as Optimus. Sadly, no sequels to this game have been released, and no plans have been revealed on what they would have done in future releases. Which is a shame. This is already a good game, and I could imagine that expanding the roster of characters and making the Decepticons playable characters in future releases would have been nice. If you're looking to buy the game, it retails cheaply in or around 20 or 30 euro, less than the original value of 50 euro on the second hand market. So pick it up if you get the chance. Though I'd recommend it more to fans of the series, and this is just a personal pick compared to the others that have a bit more gameplay and stuff. Next off is a game I remember being big upon release, but now just seems forgotten. Sonic Mania Plus of 2018 restored my faith in the franchise, as did it do the same for most of everyone else. At the moment is the last entry in the Sonic series released. It's the first one to really go back to basics of the 2D pixel era Genesis Sonic games, like the original trilogy that started it all. Which is nice, as it does mean that we have the original mechanics put back in, and that most levels have been redone up and remade with some minor differences for the modern era. The levels are well laid out, rewarding you for exploring and finding unconventional stuff like extra lives or power-ups. The game was made by fans who grew up on the original games and Knuckles. It truly feels like a best compilation of the original levels, though the bosses and zone transitions feel a little unnatural, but aside from that, the gameplay is pretty good and really fun. The game also comes packaged in a box where if you fold out the box you can make it look like a Mega Drive box in an Xbox One case. It also comes with a nice sleeve and booklet with concept art and stills from the trailer if you got it fresh off the shelves, and some resellers still have these included, though they're in varying conditions. It's relatively cheap on the second-hand market, around 20 euros, though if you got 10 euro more, just spend it on the actual game, as that's how much it's actually worth for the actual release. Though, word of advice, if you have multiple consoles, get this on a PlayStation or Xbox, as the booklet is designed for that, while the Switch has to awkwardly make its casing bigger to fit the book, and it just looks awkward on shelves. While the rest of the list is filled with games by major industry giants, let us take a step back into the indie scene and to a forgotten hit about a 32-bit knight with a shovel. I'm talking about Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight feels like a nice throwback to the Super Nintendo or Mega Drive era of side-scrolling adventures. I got Super Mario Bros. Feel from this, of making your way from one side of the map to the other, and this is from a guy who's born in 2000s and hasn't played either of those previously mentioned consoles. It starts simple in progression but becomes harder the further you get in the game. There's also additional content after you beat the game, like this area with pictures of those who backed the game on Kickstarter. While Shovel Knight is in itself a good game, the main reason I'd recommend Shovel Knight Treasure Trove is because it contains all the other games in the series. Plague Knight, Spectre Knight, and King Knight are great continuations expanding on the mechanics and the lore of the original. My personal favourite new mechanic is the jousting card game in King Knight. It is just so weird but perfectly works in the game and character to King Knight. If you were to buy this game, I'd recommend a Switch version due to its cheapness around €23. The other two versions include extra bosses like Kratos from God of War on the PlayStation 4 version, and the Battletoads on the Xbox One version, each giving you an exclusive move. You can find these versions for around €20ish compared to the original €30 value. This one may be a little controversial than the rest, but hear me out. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is probably most remembered for the immense hatred it got upon its initial release for its microtransactions, story campaign, and generally EA's involvement. However, while it started bad, it has become reasonable as time has gone on. The microtransactions were cut to somewhat reasonable prices, and it was consistently updated till The Rise of Skywalker was released. There's a fair lot of skins and weapons to choose from, and if they're locked behind a credit wall, it's not impossible to get them within a week of grinding for credits. But the main reason I'd recommend it is for its cheapness. It was originally €60 but has dropped to €10 to €20 on the second hand market. So for a relatively good AAA game, you can get it for cheap. I was originally going to recommend any Halo game on the 360, but those losing online support at the end of 2020, so this was the only alternative. You know what? Just to fill out the list to appease YouTube's list culture of 5 things on a list, here's a bonus entry to round it out. Super Mario Galaxy 2. While one's good and I'm happy the first was remastered for 3D All-Stars, I can't say I'm a little disappointed Galaxy 2 hasn't received the same treatment or praise as the original. Now my preference for this may be a little biased since I got the game first, then got the original for the Wii last year before they announced 3D All-Stars. But Mario Galaxy 2 feels vastly improved to the original. The hub planet feels unique and organic to explore and looks, in my opinion, visually better compared to the throw-together, cobbled look of the observatory. The controls and mechanics and levels are also vastly improved compared to the original. Basically, I consider this game better compared to the original. If you want to buy this game now, this is probably your best chance. Its price has been rising ever since the release of 3D All-Stars, and I can imagine it shooting up in value. Right now it's around €35, so pick it up now. I can see this rising to €50 in the next year or so this may be your last chance. Like, go buy it, I truly mean it. Everything else on the list will stay at its regular price for the next couple of years. This will rise over the coming months. Go now. Leave. Leave your PCs. Go. Fly, my birds. Go and fly.